The other day, that umbrella guy tweeted out that he had been unsubscribed from my channel without his knowledge or consent. Please check to make sure that you're still subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We need you to join us in our fight to save pop culture. Thank you, enjoy this video, and prepare. Rise of Skywalker is only a few days away. My friends, what I'm about to tell you is going to make a lot of EU fans very, very angry. With The Last Jedi, Lucasfilm drove a defective lightsaber through the heart of Star Wars, breaking the hearts of fans across the world with its nightmarish description of bizarro Jake Skywalker cowering on his island, sucking milk, tossing lightsabers, and yelling at Rey to get off his lawn. Rian Johnson's subversion of expectation wankfest completed the destruction of Star Wars that Jar Jar Abrams began when he killed Han in The Force Awakens, ensuring even before Carrie Fisher's untimely demise that our original trilogy heroes would never be reunited on screen for one final hurrah, thus in one fell swoop defeating the entire need for another Star Wars trilogy and cheating fans of the one thing they'd waited decades to see. But that didn't matter to Lucasfilm. They paid for another trilogy. They were, by God, gonna have another trilogy, pointless or not, even if it had to be filled with boring characters no one cared about, doing things no one had any interest in, with powers they hadn't earned. Lucasfilm sacrificed Luke, Leia, and Han on the altar of corporate profits so that Rey, Poe, Finn, and Beach Ball 8 could have their day. 4 characters so thin and undeveloped you could just as well have had them be played by Victoria's Secret's models. Yes, I'm saying Victoria's Secret's models are as thin and flat as watered-down Miller Lite served in a speakeasy in Utah. But I digress. The point being, Disney and Lucasfilm have proven they care nothing for established canon. They don't care about what fans want. They don't care about what came before, and they sure as shit don't care about George Lucas's galaxy, far, far away. They have a Lucasfilm story group that just does things without any regard to what those things do to the larger Star Wars universe. For example, I reported a rumor earlier that Han would be back as a Force ghost, but it turns out that wasn't entirely correct. Han is back in the movie in a Force vision, cleverly circumventing the problems with Han being a Force ghost, but ignoring completely the stupidity of Han being in a Force vision at all, since he had diddly squat to do with the Force. So how he initiated this contact with Kylo from beyond the grave using the Force is beyond me or indeed any Star Wars fan, although why he did it is all too clear. Jar Jar Abrams needed Han back as an attempt to square things with fans for killing him in the first movie. This is a prime example of how Lucasfilm operates now. They screw things up for 2 movies, failing completely and utterly to address the hopes and dreams of millions of Star Wars fans, then fall all over themselves to throw in references to as many Star Wars staples as possible without any regard for how appropriate or inappropriate those tossed-in references actually are. Let's bring back Palpatine at the last minute to make up for the fact that Rian Johnson idiotically killed Snoke in The Last Jedi, regardless of the fact that Palpatine died in the explosion of the second Death Star over Endor. And didn't just die. I mean, he got blown to bits. Got blown to atoms. The atoms got blown to atoms. I mean, it was a hell of an explosion if you've seen it. But they're trying to say that a chunk of the Death Star survived that explosion? And that it survived re-entry into the atmosphere? And that Palpatine, already thrown down a reactor shaft, held on for dear life through re-entry, the heat of re-entry, the impact of the crash? It's a living, or dying as the case might be. But they didn't stop there. Let's bring Han back despite the fact we killed him in The Force Awakens. Let's bring Leia back even though Carrie Fisher is dead. And now we come to Ahsoka. That's right, my friends. There have been rumors floating around that Ahsoka is going to be in Rise of Skywalker and that she will be played by Brie Larson. Well, I have a source who has confirmed to me that Ahsoka is in the final cut of Rise of Skywalker. What raises more questions than answers, however, is the manner of her inclusion and what it may be saying about Ahsoka herself. According to my source, and I must present this as a rumor since I have not seen the movie at this time, there is a moment in Rise of Skywalker when Rey is confronting Palpatine, and suddenly the voices of all the Jedi of the past surround Rey, encouraging her and urging her on to conquer the risen Palpatine. Essentially, we get a Jedi cheerleading squad at this point in the movie, and although all these Jedi say something different to the amazing Wonder Rey, it basically amounts to, Rey, she's our non-gender specific pronoun. If she can't beat him, no one can. And in that cacophony of Force Ghost voices from the past, the voice of Ahsoka can be heard urging Rey on, which raises the question, in slipping this bit about Ahsoka in as a member Barry, remember Ahsoka? Remember Clone Wars? Remember how cool Star Wars once was? In depicting Ahsoka as a Force Ghost, did they just kill Ahsoka? I mean, you can't be a Force Ghost unless you're 1, a Force user, and 2, dead. So did they just kill Ahsoka off-screen just like they killed Akbar off-screen? Did they toss Ahsoka away with casual aplomb like a used Kleenex tissue for the sake of name-dropping, something they think will make fans say, oh yeah, Ahsoka, yeah, I remember her, wow, this must be Star Wars. Could that possibly be? Would they really kill off a beloved character completely off-screen just to shoehorn her into a brief sequence to milk a few drops of nostalgia for the tear ducts of fans who in the heat of the moment might forget to stop and think that if Ahsoka is a Force Ghost, she must be one of the Skywalking dead? Could it be that Brie Larson plays Ahsoka in this movie? It's a brief appearance, yes, but could it be that we get a brief glimpse of Brie Larson as Ahsoka in this movie? My source didn't mention anything at all about Brie Larson being in Rise of Skywalker. My impression was these Force Ghost appearances were only voices, and that the voice of Ahsoka was provided by the actress who plays her in the animated version. But that said, it is entirely possible that this detail might have changed. They may have added visuals to the mix because this would be a very simple thing to do, even going so far as to use old footage in post. You wouldn't even necessarily have to have the footage be in sync with the dialogue. Under those circumstances, the notion that they could easily pop a shot of Brie Larson as Ahsoka with an eye towards making her a part of the Star Wars universe in a future project is not only plausible, it's easy. And it would be the perfect way to ease the fandom into the idea of accepting Brie Larson as Ahsoka in the future. Just show her. Don't have her say much. A few seconds to foist her onto fans as painlessly as possible. It's so plausible it's scary. But make no mistake, Disney must be well aware now that Brie Larson is a very controversial figure among fans. And if Brie Larson is ever cast as Ahsoka, or as any other character in the Star Wars universe, it will be tantamount to nothing less than a punch in the face to fans. A deliberate provocation and display of sheer contempt that will leave no doubt in anyone's mind. Star Wars fans are no longer welcome when it comes to Star Wars. The worst part of this development, however, is the implication that all the Jedi of the past are cheerleaders for Rey instead of Knights of the Republic. There's just no way around it. If Yoda can level the Jedi Temple with Force lightning, then these Force Ghosts could join Rey to fight against the Emperor directly. That they do not. That they merely cheer Rey on is the final humiliation and shaming of the entire Jedi Order. Essentially, in one fell swoop, they turn the entire Jedi Order into Jake Skywalker on his island. Not only is Luke Skywalker sitting out the ultimate battle between the evil of the First Order and the goodness of the New Republic, but the great Jedi of the past are sitting it out as well. See, Ruin Johnson? That's why we don't change canon, because changing canon has a lot of unforeseen side effects. Think it would be cool to have Yoda hit the Jedi Temple with Force lightning? Oh sure, that's Jim Dandy, dumbass, until you wonder why Force Ghosts don't then zap everything evil with Force lightning. You numbskull, you dolt. And thus the ghost of Ruin Johnson reaches into Rise of Skywalker and with the aid of Jar Jar Abrams makes the entire Jedi Order as worthless a bunch of surrender monkeys as Luke Skywalker. And now, If this rumor is true, their failure is complete. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock, bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Due to COPPA and recent YouTube policy changes, I've been forced to yank some of my previous videos from my channel, including Star Trek Discovery reviews, and COPPA, furthermore, will dictate what style of videos I can and can't make in the near future. Moving forward, new videos that YouTube or COPPA might frown upon will be posted at the addresses listed below. Want uncensored and unleashed videos with Doomcock and Harvey? In the future, you'll find them there.